All right, Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom, Brother Yayan, coming at you with a quick video. This video gonna be on the topic of, is the Old Testament done away with? All right, Salaki. This video gonna be on if is the Old Testament done away with, because a lot of people think when Yahweh died on the cross, that was the end of the Old Testament, which in fact that is not true at all. All right, Yahweh death on the cross was completely fulfilling everything that the prophet spoke about him. And if you don't know who Yahweh is who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. All right. So let's get into it. But before we do that, I want to jump into two precepts. All right. Two precepts. So you can understand exactly what I'm doing when I go from Old Testament to the New Testament, from Old Testament to the New Testament, or New Testament to the Apocrypha, or Old Testament to the Apocrypha. And if you guys don't know what the Apocrypha is, it's actually the books that is missing from the Bible. There's a King James 1611 Bible that has the Apocrypha inside of it. The Apocrypha was removed from the Bible in the 1800s by the Protestant Church. All right, so let's get into it. All right, Isaiah 28:10. We start at 9. Isaiah 28:9. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. Now, common sense tell you what the Lord is speaking about right here. The only thing that's drawn from the milk and weaned from the breast is a newborn baby, right? So basically what he's saying is, for you to understand this, you're going to have to forget everything that you know and start all over completely, right? For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. So when you see me reading a verse in the Old Testament, then jump into a verse in the New Testament, that's called the precept. All right. So let me show you how important your precepts are and how quick you can become to understanding the Bible, even if you don't read it from Genesis to Revelation. It's a quick way to understand the Bible, right? The Lord gave that in Isaiah 28:10. He just told you how. So let's go to Psalms 119 and 100. All right. Psalms 119 and 100. We can start at 99. I have more understanding than all my teachers, for thy testimonies are my meditation, right? So meditating on the testimony, which is these precepts that's inside of this Bible, that's helping your understanding, right? I understand more than the ancients because I keep thy precepts, meaning David was able to understand more than the ancients, meaning the ancestors that came before him, because he studied up on his precepts. He meditated on his precepts. Precepts are heavy, real heavy. This whole Bible is heavy, right? And I want to go to another one because there's a lot of noise going on outside. I have dogs in the back barking, so that's in the world. We're in the spiritual world right now, so ignore the background. I want to go into this verse so you can understand everything that's happening right now. The Lord is with us as we speak, right? So I'm going to go to Matthew 18 and 20. Matthew 18 and 20. Matthew 18 and 20. Right? Matthew 18 and 20. That's 19. Matthew 18 and 20. All right, so if you're watching this video, there's actually two people in the room, right? So if you're looking at this video, understand what the Lord is saying here. Matthew 18 and 20. For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. We are gathered together if you're watching this video. Only thing that's separating us is a phone, right? So we can get into the precepts now, and we're gonna start in the book of Isaiah chapter 53, because in that book, in that chapter, it's literally speaking about Yahweh death, right? So let's just jump into it. Let's go to Isaiah 53 and 5, 53 and 7, 53 and 10, and we're going to match that with the New Testament. All right, so let's go. Isaiah 53 and 5. Isaiah 53 and 5. Isaiah 53, 5. Isaiah 53 and 5. But he was wounded for our transgression, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. Right? So that's Isaiah 53 and 5. So let's jump to 7 to get more of an understanding. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before shears is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. Right? So this is Isaiah explaining, and this is Isaiah explaining in chapter 5, right? About Yahushua, why he was wounded and why he was beaten. It was for our transgressions. He died on the cross for our sin, right? So this is Isaiah speaking about it. So let's go to the New Testament and watch it come to life. Let's go to Matthew 27 and 12. Let's go to the New Testament and watch it come to life. Matthew 27 and 12. All right. Matthew 27 and 12. And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Barakathon. So, Salakia. Let's go back to Isaiah 53 and 7, all right? So you can understand it again. Salakia on that sneeze that I just had. Isaiah 53 and 12, and then we'll go back so you can understand it. Isaiah 53 and 7. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, as a sheep before her shears is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. So when we go to Matthew 27 and 12, you're going to hear Yahushua not open his mouth again being spoken. That's coming to life from the Old Testament to the New Testament, right? Matthew 27 and 12. And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Yahushua didn't say not one word. Isaiah prophesied that, right? So everything that's in the Old Testament is prophesying the coming of the Lord. The Lord, Yahushua himself, even spoke the law of Moses. He was raised under the law of Moses. So why would he get rid of a law that brought him up just right and brought him up as perfect as it brought him up? There's no reason to get rid of the law. The law isn't done away with. Yahushua, only thing he did was brought the law to life, because he is the law. The Bible is completely about him. It tells you that he comes in the volume of the book, right? So we'll jump into that. Let's get a few more precepts inside of Isaiah, and we can top this off real quick. So let's go to Isaiah 53 and 6, right? So to Isaiah 53 and 6, and from there we're going to go to Matthew 15 and 24, right? Isaiah 53 and 6. Isaiah 53 and 6. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord had laid on him the iniquity of us all. So it says, all we like sheep have gone astray. So let's see what Yahushua said in Matthew 15 and 24. Let's see what he was sent for, right? Matthew 15 and 24. When you start breaking this down with the precepts, you begin to understand it, and then it becomes more exciting. I'm so excited right now. It may not look like it, but I'm so excited. Matthew 15 and 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. We went astray, right? The Lord is our shepherd. He was sent to bring us back to the law that we couldn't keep, right? His death was the sacrificial of us no longer having to sacrifice, because if Yahweh shot them down the cross, man, Israel would be sacrificing left to right every single day. Yahweh shot was that burden. He took our sins and laid it upon the cross. We're going to get into that, right? So I want to also go to the book of Psalms. I want to go to the book of Psalms, and we're going to stay in Matthew, because as we go, you're going to understand that Isaiah and Matthew go hand in hand. Book of Psalms and Matthew go hand in hand. Now let's listen to what David said when David prophesied the death of Yahushua. Why is David saying his hands was pierced and it never happened to him? It only happened to Yahushua. So let's get into that. That's actually twofold. That's another video where we'll touch on Yahushua actually being the son of David, who David's son is actually King Solomon. So Yahushua was King Solomon in his past life. But that's a whole different video though. But let's get into the book of Psalms 22. Psalms 22 and 1. So much I want to touch on. Psalms 22 and 1. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me and from the words of roaring? Right? So David is saying what Yahushua said on the cross when he asked him, why have he forsaken him? Right? So let's go to Matthew 27 and 46, and Yahushua cried out the same thing that David just cried out. Matthew 27 and 46. Matthew 27 and 46. And about the ninth hour, Yahushua cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why did David say that? Right? Yahushua in this whole book of Matthew, Yahushua is he fulfilling everything that the prophets said about him. As we go from the Old Testament to the New Testament, we're speaking with prophets that spoke on his death, on the coming of his death. Even Moses spoke on the coming of Yahushua's death, right? So Isaiah 53 and 7. I'm sorry, Salakia. Psalms 22, 7 and 8. Let's go to Psalms 22, 7 and 8. Then Psalms 22, 16 and 8. All right. Book of Psalms 22 and 8. Let's start at 7. All they that see me laugh me to scorn. They shoot out the lip, they shake the head, saying, he trusted on the Lord that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him, seeing he delighted in him. Right? So this is them mocking Yahushua, right? They mocking Yahushua. Right? And that's exactly what they did in Matthew. They mocked them, right? So now we jump to 22, Psalms 22, 16 and 18, to put it more in perspective so it can come to life Then we can go to Matthew 27 and 35, and you can actually see what David was talking about, right? Let's see, 22 and 16. For dogs have compassed me, the assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet. That didn't happen to David. David was a just man in Yahweh's eyes. Yahweh is the Lord, the creator of all things. David was a just man in Yahweh's eyes, right? So that death did not happen to David. David's hands was never pierced. David's hands was his feet was never pierced as well. That happened to Yahweh Shah. So now let's jump to Matthew 27 and 35 and actually see what happened to Yahweh Shah. Matthew 27, 35. Matthew 27, 35. It says, and they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture they cast lots. Right? Did you see that? It says, and they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophets. So everything that was spoken in the Old Testament was about the coming of Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Shah fulfilled it. That's what he fulfilled. We can go to what verse is that? Salakia. Got my notes right here. We can go to Matthew 5 and 18 and understand why Yahweh Shah said what he said in Matthew 5 and 18. Let's go to Matthew 5 and 18. So we can see why the death that Yahweh Shah died was only fulfilling what the prophets spoke about his death. Right? Matthew 5 and 18. This is Yahweh Shah speaking in red letters. For verily we can start at 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Right? That's what Yahweh Shah came to do, to fulfill the prophecies that was prophesied about him in the Old Testament. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law to all be fulfilled. Right? I mean, heaven and earth is still here, right? So the law is not done away with. Yahweh Shah said himself, until heaven and earth pass away. Heaven and earth have not passed away, right? Not one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law. Right? So how can all be fulfilled? How can we even be under a new covenant? How can we be under a new covenant by the death of Yahweh Shah when we're still in the old covenant, right? A new covenant have not been made. And when that covenant is made, that covenant is only going to be made with the children of Israel, right? Because how can you get a new covenant, but you already made an old covenant? The old covenant was made with the Israelites. So the new covenant is going to be made with the Israelites. We can touch on that too. We can go to Jeremiah 31 and 31. And we can crack that open with Jeremiah 31 and 31. Also, we can also go to Hebrews 8, 9, and 13 and crack that open as well. So let's go to Jeremiah 31 and 31. From the Old Testament and jump into the New Testament, right? Just so you can understand that the Old Testament and New Testament go hand in hand. That's the only reason why I'm jumping from Old Testament to New Testament right now. Because I can literally just stay in the Old Testament and show Old Testament prophecies that have not came to pass which will let you know that we still inside of the Old Testament. The Old Testament still exists. There is no new covenant. So let's go to Jeremiah 31:31. Right? Jeremiah 31:31. Behold, the days come, said the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. Who was brought out of the land of Egypt? Who did Moses free? The Israelites. Moses freed the Israelites. So that covenant is still with the Israelites to this day. Although I was a husband unto them, said the Lord, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said the Lord. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their mind and write it in their hearts. When you see that word hearts is twofold, right? It's basically saying when I write it in their mind. This is what the Lord is saying right here. When I write it in their mind, because the heart doesn't do nothing but pump blood. That's all it do, right? So when you hear he had it in his mind to do evil, he had it in Salakia. When you hear he had it in his heart to do evil, he had it in his mind to do evil, right? But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said the Lord. I will put my law in their inwards part and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. That's a possessive word. So we already know this is with the Israelites. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the great of them, said the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sins no more. Right? So the Lord saying, this is another way you can understand we're not in the new covenant. Because right now, I'm preaching, do you know the Lord? Right? When you go to church, and I would say no to churches on Sunday, because the Lord does not like the pastors, because they leading you astray. We're going to touch on that verse as well. But that's how you know that the new covenant does not exist, because we're still teaching. Everybody is still teaching who is the Lord, who is the Lord. When the new covenant hit, you're going to know who the Lord is, because he said he's going to write it in your mind. So let's jump to Hebrews in the New Testament and see what it's speaking about in the New Testament. Hebrews 8:9-13. Salakia again, man. I got dogs in the backyard, so don't pay attention to that world. We're in a whole different world right now. We're in the spiritual world. Hebrews 8:9-13. Hebrews 8:9-13. All right. Let's see. We can start at 6. Salakia. We can start at 6. But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also is the mediator of a better covenant. That's Yahushua. Yahushua is the mediator between Yahweh and us. Yahushua is like our lawyer, basically. Like, I mean, we can go in front of the Lord, and the Lord can say, well, you did this. Yahushua is the one that's going to be like, yeah, he did this, Father, but at the same time, he could have done this, or I forgive him because this is this and that. And the Lord is going to say, okay, my son, forgive you. You can enter. Like, that's our mediator. Yahushua is the only thing that can save you. You cannot get into that kingdom unless Yahushua allow you into that kingdom. Because at that gate, we'll go into that on a whole different video. Let's stay on topic. Right? Hebrews 8:6. But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if the first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second, right? So it's saying that if the first covenant that the Lord made with the Israelites in the Old Testament, right, was good, there's no need for a new one. But Israel could not keep the commandments. They couldn't hold the covenant, the law, statutes, and commandments that the Lord gave them. So he sent his son to help with that by being the mediator. For finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, said the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand and led them out of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant and regarded them not, said the Lord. Right? For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said the Lord. I will put my laws into their minds and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me my people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the great. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness and their sins and their iniquities, and remember them no more. Right? And that he said, a new covenant he had made, the first old, now that which decay and wax old is ready to vanish away. Then verily the first covenant had also ordinance of divine service in a worldly sanctuary. Right? So basically, the Lord is saying when it waxes old when heaven and earth is completely done, when everything is finished. That's when it'll wax old. It haven't waxed old yet, right? Let's go to Revelation so we can see how we know that the Old Testament is not done away with, because you cannot get into the kingdom unless you keep the commandments. That's in the final chapter of Revelations, right? That's the only way that you can get into the kingdom, is by keeping the commandments. So yeah, the commandments are still intact. The commandments, we should be keeping them right to this day. If you're not keeping them, repent to the Most High, ask for forgiveness of your sins, and ask him to guide you in the name of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Right? That's in the name of the Father. That's in the name of the Lord. Salakia. That's in the name of the Lord. Salakia. In the name of the Lord and the Son, right? Yahweh being the Lord, by Hashem, in the name of Yahweh Shah, Jesus, Hamashiach, Christ, right? Salakia. So let's go to the last verse. That's Revelation 22:14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter through the gates into the city. That's the only way you're getting into there, right? The only way you're getting into the kingdom is if you keep the commandments, the law, statutes, and commandments that the Most High gave the Israelites when he brought them out of Egypt. From Genesis, Salakia, from Deuteronomy, Leviticus, Numbers, and Exodus. Those are the law, statutes, and commandments inside of those books. But it's law, statutes, and commandments throughout the whole Bible, because like I said, Yahweh Shah said he come in a volume of the book. Let's get that. Let's get that real quick. Let's get that. Salakia. Let's go to Hebrews 10:7, right? Hebrews 10:7. And let's see that Yahweh Shah comes in the volume of this book, like he said. Hebrews 10:7, right? And it reads, then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me to do the will of God, right? That's Yahushua telling you that he comes in a volume of the book. From Genesis to Revelations, Yahushua is in the book. Yahushua has been reincarnated multiple times, right? So let's jump back to this whole pastor thing. That's what I wanted to touch on. I got a little off topic, but let's go to that. Jeremiah 23:1, right? Jeremiah 23:1. And let's see why you should say no to church on Sundays. Jeremiah 23:1. Salaki. Jeremiah 23:1. And it reads, "Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pastor, said the Lord. Therefore, thus said the Lord, God of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people, ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, said the Lord. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries where I have driven them, and will bring them again to the folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase." The Lord is against pastors. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you don't want to hear that. If you don't like that, I'm sorry. The Lord said it in the Bible. He is against pastors, because pastors only preach, oh, God is good. That's all they preach. They don't go to the Old Testament, and they don't tell you about the man of war that the Lord is, because the Lord is a man of war, right? He kill, he make alive. The rapings that you see, the murdering that you see, the missing kids that you see, all that is the Lord. That's the Lord's doing. This is the Lord movie. We just actors, man. That's it. We just actors. So if you don't like hearing the fact that the Lord is against pastors, then you're against the Lord, right? I'm sorry, but that's technically what you are. You're against the Lord. So let's go to some more prophecies, right? Let's go to Isaiah 62:11, and let's hit a prophesying of the Lord coming into the world. Isaiah 62:11. Isaiah 62:11. Slakia, Isaiah 62:11. Salakia. Give me 1 second. Isaiah 62:11. All right, Isaiah 62:11. And it reads, "Behold, the Lord had proclaimed unto the end of the world, say ye to the daughter of Zion, behold, thy salvation cometh, behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him." Right? "And they shall call them the holy people, the redeemed of the Lord, and thou shalt be called salt out, a city not forsaken." Right? So let's touch on the next. What is that? Let's go to Zechariah. Zechariah is saying the same thing that Isaiah said in 62:11. So let's go to Zechariah 9:9, right? Zechariah 9:9. Zechariah 9:9. Slacky. Zechariah 9:9, and it reads, Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, the king cometh unto thee. He is just and having salvation, lowly and riding upon an ass and upon a coat, the foal of an ass. Right? So who is that just man and who is the only one that's the king of salvation? That's Yahweh Shah. I mean, point blank period, right? So now let's go to the New Testament and show exactly what Isaiah was saying in 62:11 and what Zechariah is saying in 8 and 9, right? Salakia 9 and 9. Let's see what they said, and let's see it be fulfilled and brought to life in the New Testament. So from now we're going to go to John 12, right? John 12. Let's watch it come to life. John 12. Salakia. Salakia. John, we're going to start at John 12 and 14, right? And Jesus, when he had found a young ass, sat thereon, as it is written, as it is written. Written is past tense, right? So it was written in the book of Isaiah chapter 62, verse 11. And it was written in Zechariah chapter 9, verse 9. Those books are found in the Old Testament. We're in the New Testament, right? And Jesus, when he had found a young ass, sat thereon, as it is written, Fear not, daughter of Zion. Behold, thy king cometh, sitting on an ass coat. Right? What was prophesied about Yahweh Shah in the Old Testament came to life in the New Testament. From Matthew all the way up to his death. Even more so, Paul and the rest of the disciples went on preaching about it, right? Now, let's see. Salaki, where was I? These things understood not his disciples at first, but when Jesus was glorified, then remembered they that the things were written of him, and that they had done these things unto him. Right? So the disciples realized what was written about him, Yahweh Shah actually done. Right? Because even when they was giving Yahweh Shah up to death, the highest priest knew. Salaki. The highest priest knew that that Yahweh Shah had to die for the sins of many, right? Let's touch on that one in the New Testament. Let's go to John 1 and 29, right? John 1 and 29. John, I can use John 1 and 29. But is that what I'm looking for? John 1:29, or is it Hebrews 9:26? Let's do John 1:29. The next day, John seeth Jesus coming unto him and said, Behold, the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world. This is he whom I said after me cometh. Salakia. Now, that's not what I was looking for. Let's, Hebrews 9:26. Let's go to Hebrews 9:26. I believe that's what I was looking for. Salakia. Hebrews 9:26. And so it's okay, like if you mess up, but it's not perfect. You don't want to make it seem like you're perfect. Right? Hebrews 9:26. Let's see. Now this is speaking on why Christ died, right? Hebrews 9:26. For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world, but now once in the end of the world had he appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. All right, that's one of them. That's one of them. It's another one I'm looking for. Salakia. Salakia. What's that? Acts. Salakia, I found it. John 11 and 50. Salakia, John 11 and 50, right? Let's go to John 11 and 50. This is what I was looking for. John 11 and 50. Salakia. Let's see. All right, we'll start at 49. John 11 and 49. And one of them named Caiaphas, being the high priest, said the same year to them, Ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation not perish. Right? And this he spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for the nation. Right? Let's go to Matthew 1 and 24, and you'll see exactly why Jesus was sent. Matthew 1 and 24. Matthew 1 and 24. Matthew 1 and 24, right? It says, Matthew 1 and 21, let's start there. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. Right? That's what the high priest Caiaphas just said. That one is supposed to die for the whole nation. That's what Yahweh Shah was sent for, to die for the whole nation of Israel. That's why he told the Canaanite woman in Matthew, 15? Matthew 15:24, he told her, I was sent not but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. His people is Israel, because Yahweh Shah come out of the loins of Judah. He's a Judite, right? So it says, and she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, and he shall save his people, his being a possessive noun, meaning belonging to him, his people from their sin. That's where you get Isaiah 45 and Isaiah 45 and 15 or Isaiah 45 and 17. So let's find out who is his people, because we know he come out of the loins of Judah. Judah is an Israelite, right? So Yahweh Shah is from the tribe of Judah. So let's go to Isaiah 45. I believe it's 45 and 17, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Isaiah 45 and 17. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. We touched back over there who is that everlasting salvation. Yahweh Shai is that just and salvation. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be assumed nor confounded. World without end. Israel is a world itself. And the world that we live in is a world itself. So when you see that world, that's what the Lord is talking about. Even when you go to Salakia. Even when you go to John 3:16, right? John 3:16. Even when you go to John 3:16, You see that same world, right? John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever shall believe in him shall not perish and have everlasting life. That same everlasting life that we just seen in Isaiah 45 and 15. Yeah, Isaiah 45 and 15. That's talking about the Israelites. Yahweh Shai only died on the cross for the Israelites. So if you take Matthew 1 and 21 through 24, Isaiah 45:15, and John 3:16, you put those together, you understand that the Lord was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I mean, that's simple, right? That's what he was sent there for. Now let's understand the reason of his death, right? Right? Let's go to Acts 3 and 18 with Paul. Let's see what Paul said. A lot of people like Paul but don't understand that Paul himself was an Israelite, and Paul kept the law. And we're going to touch on Paul keeping the law as well, even after the death of Yahweh Shai. So let's go to Acts 3 and 18. A lot of people love Paul. Paul isn't Yahweh Shai, right? Acts 3 and 18. Acts 3 and 18. It says, it's like I'm in Romans, that's why. Paul speaking Romans as well. Let's go to Acts 3 and 18. Acts 3 verse 18. But those things which God before had showed by the mouth of all his prophets, that Christ should suffer, he had so fulfilled. That's the only thing Christ fulfilled. It's exactly what Paul said in Acts 3 verse 18. But those things which God before had showed by the mouth of all his prophets, that Christ should suffer, he had so fulfilled. So Yahweh Shai did not fulfill everything. He only fulfilled what the prophets said about him. That's exactly why he said, until heaven and earth pass away, not one jot or tittle shall fall from the law. The law is not done away with. Yahweh Shai told Moses to speak to the children of Israel in Numbers 15 and 38. You're supposed to have fringes completely. That's generation upon generation upon generation. And as far as I'm concerned, each generation instead of having kids. So apparently the law isn't done away with. All have not passed away. So if you so-called Black, Hispanic, Mexican, Native American, Indian, and you don't have no fringes, please get some fringes, right? But that's a whole nother video. We can talk on that in a whole nother video. If you want, the Watchmen for Israel does tremendous breakdowns. They have a Cold Cuts channel, a WFI Cold Cut. Then they have a WFI channel as well, WFI Detroit, WFI New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken. They just reached down in Atlanta. So check out the Watchmen for Israel. Those guys break down it completely, cutthroat, straight to the point, like no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? So let's touch on Paul keeping the law. Right. All right. Let's go to Romans 7 and 22. Let's go to Romans 7 and 22. Romans 7 and 22. Romans 7 and 22. We'll start at 21. I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man. Right? So that's Paul keeping the law. Paul still keep the law. Let's go to Acts 3 and 31, right? Acts 3 and 31. Acts 3. Acts 3 and 31. Salakia. Acts 3 and 31. Acts 3. Salakia. Is it 21? Salakia. Romans 3 and 21. Salakia. Israel. Romans 3 and 21. Romans 3 and 21. And it reads, but, Salakia, we start at 20. Therefore, by the deeds of the law, there shall no flesh be justified in his sight. For by the law is the knowledge of sin. So if you understand the law, then you understand the acknowledgement of the sin, because sin is transgression of the law, right? That's what sin is. Sin is transgression of the law. But Romans 3 and 21. But now the righteousness of God without the law is manifested, being witnessed by the law and the prophets, even the righteousness of God, which is by faith of Yahushua HaMashiach, unto all and upon all them that believe, for there is no difference. Right? Paul kept the law, right? Let's go to Romans. Romans 3 and 20 already. Yeah, hit that one already. All right, so I hit that one. Right. So let's go to Baruch. I want to touch on one that's in the Apocrypha. All right, I want to go to Baruch 4 and 1 in the Apocrypha. Then after that, we can go to Jesus speaking the law of Moses, right? We can go to that. Then we can go to Galatians 4 and 4. Show you that Jesus, Yahushua, was brought up. He was brought up in the law, right? So why would he get rid of something that brought him up and uprighted and God guided him through his life? Let's see, I touched on that. Then we can do Malachi 3 and 6. Then Isaiah 14 and 24. I'm going to end it with Isaiah 14 and 24. All right, so let's go to Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. Inside the Apocrypha. If you don't have the King James 1611 book, then you will need an Apocrypha to find Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. Right? This is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endured forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. See, just from that right there, we can link Baruch 4 and 1. We can link Baruch 4 and 1 with Revelations 22 and with Revelations 22, Salakia. It's 22 and 15. If I'm not mistaken. We can link that with Revelations 22 and 14, Salakia. So we can link Baruch 4 and 1 with Revelations 22 and 14. Because Revelations 22 and 14 says, blessed are they that do his commandments, and they, Salakia, blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life and may enter into the city of the gates, into Salakia, and may enter through the gates into the city. So if you link Revelations 22 and 14 with Baruch 4 and 1, they go hand in hand. This is the book of the commandments of God and the law. In Revelations 22 and 15, 22 and 14, Yahushua said, blessed are they that do his commandments, right? So doing the commandments is you literally keeping the commandments. And that's everything that Moses spoke on from the beginning of the book all the way to the end of the book, because it's not just 10 commandments. It's 618 commandments in this Bible. Everything the Lord say do is a commandment. So if I was to tell you, oh, go to the store and grab me a soda, I'm giving you a commandment, right? So everything the Lord said do is a commandment. Baruch 4 and 1. This is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, right? So if you're keeping the commandments, like you coming into life, right? Because the Bible itself is that light. It's that life. It's that light that Yahushua is bearing, right? And it's filling your spirit up, right? So if your spirit is full of life, hey, you got the word of the Lord, you got the wisdom inside of you. You got that wine, right? That wine on a physical level, because the scriptures is wine, right? That's our bread and water, right? Right? So this is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endureth forever, and all that keep his commandments shall come to life. But such as leave it shall die. Meaning that if you walk away from this, if you don't have the Lord in you, which is these laws, statutes, and commandments, only thing that's there for you is death, right? I mean, it's just cutthroat. It's that simple, right? So let's go to Luke 24 and 44 and show you that Yahushua even spoke the law of Moses, because that's what he was raised up on. But before we get to that, let's go to there was one I wanted to go to. Galatians 4 and 4. Let's go to Galatians 4 and 4 first, right? Galatians 4 and 4. Galatians 4 and 4. So we can show you that Yahushua himself was raised under the law. So was his parents. Galatians 4 verse 4. Right? All right, Galatians 4 and 4. But when the fulfillment of time was come, God sent forth his son, made of woman, made under the law. Yahushua was raised under the law. And if Yahushua was raised under the law, what was he teaching then? He was teaching what the prophets spoke. Everything Yahushua spoke is what the prophets spoke. And Yahushua took it further, on a further level, right? That's why he tell you he leave you no new commandments, right? He took it further on a higher level to say, the Lord, Yahweh said, if you do evil, Yahweh said, thou shalt not commit murder, right? Yahweh took it further to say, if you even think about it, you've committed a sin. So basically, if you have those thoughts in your mind, those lustful thoughts in your mind, those, how do you want to say it, evil thoughts, and you thinking evil or thinking to do evil, you breaking the commandments. He took it further enough to say, man, you shouldn't much have that in your thought, like your thought. That shouldn't much be your mind frame, right? So let's go to Luke 24 and 44, right? Luke 22 and 44. Then we go close it with the cutthroat of Isaiah 14 and 24. Let's go to Luke 24 and 44. Luke 24 and 44. And it reads, and he said unto them in red letters. And he said it to them in red letters, right? And he said it to them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled which were written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me. Now we touched on Psalms in the book of Psalms, right? In the book of Psalms, we touched on how David spoke on, they pierced my hands and they pierced my feet. That didn't happen to David. That happened to Yahweh Shai. So Luke 24 and 44, Yahweh Shai is telling you everything that was spoken by the prophets, everything in the Old Testament is prophets, right? The New Testament is after Yahweh Shai gave up the spirit, right? For the sin of Israel. So everything Yahweh Shai is telling you in Luke, this here alone should tell you that was the only thing Yahweh Shai died for. Let's read it again. Luke 24 and 44. And he said it to them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me. So when you read Psalms 22:16, when you read 2 Samuel 7 and 12 through 16, when you read 1 Kings 7:11, right? Those are things being spoken of Yahweh Shai in the Old Testament. Luke 24 and 44 fulfills everything what Yahweh Shai died for on that cross, right? So let's close it with the cutthroat. I think it's cutthroat because everything. I think it's cutthroat because it shuts down the Old Testament being done away with, right? We're not under a New Testament. So let's go to Isaiah 14 and 24. So that way we can understand we are still in the Old Testament. You still have to watch your dietary laws. You cannot eat pork, right? You cannot eat crawfish. You cannot eat bottom feeders, right? You cannot eat any damn animal unless it have hooves, right? Right? There's clover-footed, right? So let's let that, and you can find it in the Leviticus laws, right? The dietary laws. So let's get into Isaiah 14 and 24. And let's close it with Isaiah 14 and 24. Again, Israel, this is my first video. So there will be more to come, Lord willing. I think I did great in my first video. But Isaiah 14 and 24. Isaiah 14, 24. And it reads, the Lord of hosts had sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass. And as I have proposed, so shall it stand. So everything that the Lord said in the Old Testament, it has to come to pass completely. It has to come to pass. And it haven't came to pass. Only a few things. The Old Testament is still unraveling right today, right? So everything that was spoken in the Old Testament by the prophets, it has to come to pass and have not came to pass. That's why Yahweh Shai said, not one jot or one tittle shall fall from the law until all be fulfilled. All is not fulfilled, which means we are still in the Old Testament. We're not under the new covenant. So with that, Israel, shalom, shalom. Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, Yahweh Shai. Barakatham, Bahawa Yah. Barakatham, Salakia. Barakatham, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Mashiach. With that, I'm going to end it.